This is an example of a context ruler. I've zoomed in to highlight the many features. A context ruler is packed with information. You may feel overwhelmed looking at one for the first time, but the information they convey is worth the few minutes of effort required to understand them. Let's start with the easy bit, the heading. The heading says this is a context ruler for the demand to supply ratio calculated at the end of August 2025. And the subheading says the context ruler is comparing Stanmore houses with houses Australia-wide. So the basis for the comparison is the demand to supply ratio, and the market being compared is Stanmore houses, and it is being compared to all house markets from around the country. Oh, and by the way, I'm in trial mode, so the data you're looking at right now is not real. At the top left of the ruler, you can see the minimum value for the demand to supply ratio was 14. This is out of all house markets around the country. Moving your eye across to the right towards the middle of the top of the ruler, you can see that the average DSR countrywide was 56. Those grey lines stretching out to the left and right of the average are called the standard deviation. It gives you an idea how spread out the data is. The wider those grey lines, the more diverse the demand to supply ratios were across the nation. At the bottom of the ruler, the median DSR is shown as 60. This was the middle figure when all suburbs were sorted by DSR. To the left of the median, you will see Q2. To the right of the median, there is Q3. On the far left is Q1 and on the far right is Q4. These are quartiles. They separate the range of property markets into 4 groups. Each group contains 25% of the Australian property market. The first quartile, Q1, had demand to supply ratios ranging from 14 to about 51. The second quartile contained the next 25% of the Australian property market. They had DSRs ranging from 51 to 60. The third quartile had DSRs from 60 to 66, and the fourth quartile had DSRs from 66 to 82, which was the maximum DSR for this month. You will notice the dark blue ellipse containing the number 39. This is the DSR for Stanmore houses at the end of August 2025. But remember, this is not real data because I am in trial mode. The shading along the ruler suggests how good a range of values are for this metric. Red is bad, green is good. As investors, we are more interested in the green end. And according to this data, Stanmore houses are not very good investments right now. They have a DSR of only 39, which is well below average. In fact, you can see a summary at the bottom which says below standard. This means the DSR is below the benchmark for this metric, which is 50. Stanmore houses are in the 87th percentile, meaning this market is towards the back of the pack. It ranked 13,000th roughly out of 15,000 suburbs. Not very good. Now the bars along the ruler are the frequency distribution bars, also known as a histogram. They show where most Australian suburbs lie along the range of DSR values. The higher the bar, the more suburbs were found with a DSR around that value. You can see that values around 60 to 7 were most common in this month. Extremely bad suburbs are very uncommon, and extremely good suburbs are uncommon too. That's why the bars at either end of the ruler are very short. Now, if you hover your mouse over one of these bars, you'll be shown the span of DSR values across the bar and how many markets were found within this span. The pop-up details also show how many markets were better than this and how many were worse. Remember that green is good and red is bad. So better is towards the green end and worse is towards the red end. By the way, you may see a context ruler that is shaded grey, not red or green. This means it doesn't matter what value the metric has, that metric has no consequence regarding investment potential. For example, the distance to the CBD, the latitude of the suburb, or the number of dwellings, and there are a few more. Okay, now that you've seen this information that a context ruler provides, how can that intel be used to make better investment decisions? What's the purpose or use of a context ruler? Well, there are two primary purposes of the context ruler. The most obvious question it answers is, how good is this suburb compared to others, as judged by the chosen metric? And in this case, the chosen metric is the overall investment potential, which is the DSR. But you can choose other metrics like yield if cash flow is your thing. But the important use of the context ruler comes not from comparison to see how good a single market is, but rather to see the spread of values across the country for any metric you're not completely familiar with. And this is really important when setting filters in Suburb Search. If you haven't gone through the Suburb Search tutorial, make sure you do that now and come back here, or what I'm about to say might not make much sense. In Suburb Search, there is an area in the criteria where you specify filters. This will narrow down your search to suburbs that match those filters, like your price range. You can set a maximum value in dollars that you can afford to buy. You can also set other filters like a minimum yield. And the other we recommend is statistical reliability. It's a measure of how reliable the DSR is for a market. You might find high DSR markets where the data is sketchy. Okay, how do you know what values to set for these filters? Especially for a metric you're not intimately familiar with, like the statistical reliability. Even a metric you think you know well may not be what you think in current market conditions. And this is where the context ruler comes in very handy. Let's look at an example I often see: yield. Many investors think they can choose almost any yield they want. They don't realise just how many excellent markets they are eliminating from consideration by putting yield too high. Now, I've switched to live mode to show real data, not mock data. Let's say I'm looking for a positive cash flow market, one with a yield of at least 6%. As you can see, the vast majority of property markets have a yield less than 6%, typically around 4%. By setting a minimum yield of 6% in your filters in Suburb Search, you will eliminate 90% of suburbs. Now, a gross rental yield of 6% sounds better than a gross rental yield of 4% by 2%, but it will turn out to be less than that. Property expenses are a higher percentage in high yield markets. The net yield will be higher, yes, but not proportionately higher. So if you double the gross yield, you will not double the net yield, it will be less. And if the property is cash flow positive, you will have to pay tax on it at your marginal rate. That might halve what's left over. More to the point, what are the chances that somewhere in that 90% of suburbs you have eliminated, there's a property market with 3% more growth? You may have gained an extra 1% net yield, but at the cost of 3% growth, so you're actually worse off. Anyway, that's up to you and your strategy, but at least you have a tool you can use to see how likely it is to find what you are after. Let's say you can only afford to buy a property worth $250,000 and you want to renovate and you live in Adelaide. What are your chances? I'll change the metric to typical value. And I'll also limit the context, that is the wider market, to the Adelaide significant urban area. If you're not sure what a significant urban area is, go through the terminology tutorial or the getting started tutorial. All right, let's look at this data. Have a look at the minimum value. There's a suburb that may have a house we can buy for that price, but it will be slim pickings because of the height of the bar. We now know how unlikely it is. Add to a 250,000 typical value filter some other metrics like statistical reliability, demand to supply ratio, and nothing will match your criteria in Suburb Search. The context ruler is a great way of getting an idea of how realistic your expectations are. It becomes invaluable when setting filters in Suburb Search. Be sure to view an up-to-date context ruler for any metric you choose to filter by in Suburb Search. Okay, now you get the idea behind the context ruler and you've seen some of the options. Let me just go over the criteria fields you can play with to get what you want. In most cases, you'll want to look at the latest data, so the month is defaulted to the latest. But markets change over time, so an above average GSR in boom times can be very different to what is considered above average in tough times. So if you want to research the nature of markets in the past, you can change this from the default. The metric drop-down shows you a list of metrics to choose from. You can scroll down the list or you can start typing a word to filter options. The market field is optional. You do not have to specify one. This is only needed when you want to place a specific market in context to the wider market. The wider market is defaulted to Australia, but you can choose any other macro geography like a state, a city, local government area, or even just a postcode. Pick what property type the data is for. The default is houses. And there you have your criteria. Now, if there are criteria you prefer that differ from the defaults, then you can save that criteria using this button. You can give your criteria a name and you can mark it as your favourite. When you return to the context ruler, your favourite settings will be defaulted instead of the system ones. Now, there is a cost to view a context ruler. You can get a quote using the Get Quote button. The cost to view a context ruler is largely based on the metric you're trying to gain an understanding of. The quote shows the breakdown. Note that to view the same context ruler again will cost you nothing. And to view a context ruler you've seen before, you can find a list of report requests you've made in the log. Scroll down the list to find one you want to view again. Then click the View link. This will load that same criteria into the fields. Now click Get Data to see the report again. It will not cost anything. You can get to the context ruler page from the home page. But there are a few other ways you can view a context ruler. One is via Suburb Search. In a Suburb Search report, the table of matching markets will contain some grid cells that show values for a metric for a market. If you click on that cell, a navigation page will appear. It shows at the top the market's name and the metric's name. Then there's a list of navigation options, and one of these is Context Ruler. If you click Context Ruler, the page changes to the Context Ruler page. and the market and metric you selected are defaulted for you. To view a context ruler for this metric and place this market in context to the default wider market, simply click Get Data. Another way to view a context ruler is via Market Metrics. A Market Metrics report contains data for a specific market and shows a range of metrics. To the right of each metric value, there's a column of context ruler links. The link on the left will show a context ruler in a pop-up over the current page. Note that if you are in live mode, your account will be debited with the cost of the context ruler. Alternatively, you can click on the link on the right. This will open a new tab in your browser. The new tab will load the context ruler page. You can see that the fields of the context ruler have been automatically set to the market and metric from the Market Metrics page. You can adjust the settings and get a quote, or you can click Get Data and see the ruler for this market and metric. So the icon on the left shows the context ruler in a pop-up and debits your account immediately, while the icon on the right allows you to fiddle with criteria and get a quote. And this concludes the context ruler tutorial. Remember to use the context ruler to compare a suburb to the wider market by a metric and to see how rare a certain metric value is.